Hi everybody, it's Matt Carter here and welcome to this live webinar as part of the ongoing campaign of Life Foods to help provide information on health-related topics to all our valued customers. So this is a new initiative that we're rolling out. Thanks very much for joining us on this webinar. It's a real pleasure to have you with us. And in a moment I'm going to introduce to you a lady by the name of Christina McGrath, or McGrath as we say it in New Zealand and Australia. And Christina is a health coach. She's a health coach into recreational and professional athletes. She's been in the fitness and coaching industry for over 15 years, so she's got a lot of experience in health and fitness and wellness, understanding food and nutrition. So I thought it would be really great to get Christina on a live coaching webinar workshop type thing where she can share her knowledge with us. And then, of course, we want to make it interactive, so if you've got any questions, you can ask them throughout the webinar, or at the end we'll have a short space for any questions that might pop up. So the topic that we're going to be talking about today is take control of your cravings. Food cravings is an interesting topic, and a lot of people have cravings and don't even know they've got them, or when they've got cravings, they don't realize the effects that they can have, causing people to eat the wrong foods and really unhealthy foods. And obviously health food is all that Life Foods is about. We're really about driving people to take care of their bodies by watching what they put in it and eating whole foods and very low processed foods and as much raw foods as you possibly can, high nutrient foods. So obviously this sort of topic ties in well with what we do at Life Foods, so we thought it would be a fun live event to get somebody like Christina to come and join us and share her knowledge on a topic like this. We will be rolling out a lot more topics, various topics around health and wellness when we do these live events. So this is one of the first ones that we're doing. But if you've got topics that you would like us to, get an expert like Christina to come in and do a webinar session on for you, then please let us know. Just post on Facebook or on our blog, or you can email us any way you like. You can get on the phone if you want to give us a call. I'm happy to hear from our customers, because the point of doing these types of sessions and webinars is they're 100% free. It's just a service that we're putting on for customers of Life Foods, because we just simply want to help educate people. There's nothing else to it really. We just want to put on a service for our customers. So we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you guys want to hear. So please do let us know. Make this interactive as well. So we're going to kick things off. This will go for probably about 40 minutes of a session, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end, so feel free to stick around. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome to the call Christina McGrath. So Christina, I'm just going to unmute your mic. Hopefully you can hear us. Can you just let me know if you're there and we can hear you?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Great. Look, thanks so much for coming on and doing this presentation. I really appreciate it. Now, I know that you're in the United States at the moment, but you do reside in New Zealand a good part of the year. You're probably one of the smart ones that leaves in the New Zealand winter. But you've made a fantastic effort, because I know it's 4 o'clock in the morning where you are. So I just want to say thank you for it's pretty good of you to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to share on some health topic to help us all get a little more healthy. So a big thank you from me. What I'm going to do is just hand over to you. I know you've got a PowerPoint presentation on slides that you're going to take us through on this topic of food cravings. So what I'll do is I'll let you take it away and go through the topics, and I might jump in if I've got any questions or if the audience has anything. So if that's fine with you, I'm going to hand over, Christina, to you. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Matt. I am so excited that Life Foods asked me to do this presentation. I've been working with Life Foods and Matt for a little while now on a number of nutrition workshops that I've personally been putting on around New Zealand. And I feel like what the product is and what they offer is very pertinent to what I'm going to be talking about today, is taking control of your cravings, especially in a very healthy way. So we'll start. And like Matt said, just a little bit about myself. Oh, sorry. There we go. So obviously, I'm, like Matt said, I'm a health coach, recreational professional athletes. I've been in a number of different sports my whole life, between rowing and snowboarding and skiing, rock climbing, mountain biking. I think that's why I love New Zealand as well, and why I live part of my years in Wanaka and part of my years up north in Fomata and the Coromandel. And I also have been in fitness and coaching, so in the fitness industry for about 15 years. And during that time, I definitely have worked with a number of people to increase their peak performance. And we talk a lot about what their body needs, what nutrients they need in their diet, and what kind of proteins work for them as well. In addition to food allergies, dealing with digestive issues, a number of those things that I'm a specialist at, that I have personally gone through myself. And I actually want to say that I did my first half Ironman this year in Wanaka, and that really definitely adds another element to training and understanding what your body actually needs as well. I run retreats, workshops, and wellness seminars around the world, currently in New York City doing that, which is pretty exciting, but I'm always up for kind of connecting with everybody back in New Zealand, like Matt said, and so I'm excited to be here. It's just a little bit early. So, and then as you see on the bottom of the slide, my website is swellfitliving.com. And you can always come to there for events, workshops. I've posted some recipes as well from Life Foods, or of what I use, what products I use for Life Foods, and just some cool things with that. Also, I have a newsletter. So there's some information just briefly about what I do and why I feel like this is a very important topic to address, and you'll definitely get a lot out of this talk, whether personally or whether sharing with somebody else. I feel like cravings are more than we think they are, and even when I was talking to Matt about it, we were like, cravings are kind of funny sometimes. It's like, oh, well, I'm craving chocolate, isn't that funny, and I ate a whole bar, but when that craving becomes, well, it's actually a body's ability to tell you something, that's when we really want to listen, because it can develop into something that we're not going to be very fond of, diabetes or different things like that. So I feel like this is a very important topic and definitely something that we should all be aware of. So in our webinar today, we will cover what cravings actually are, and why they're harmful to your health, and the 8 causes of cravings, which some of them might surprise you. I know when I talk about it, everybody's surprised by a couple of them. The typical cravings and their effects. Why willpower is not the answer. Willpower only lasts so long, and eventually, as we know with diets, there comes a point to where you're not allowing. Whenever you're not allowing yourself something, you tend to want more of it in the future. So unless we get to the bottom of the craving, you're never really going to solve the problem. I know one of my mentors and coaches, she's like, if you have a tack in your foot, you're not going to take aspirin to alleviate the pain in your foot. You're going to try to get rid of the tack. I kind of feel like that is the same with cravings. Let's try to get rid of the cravings instead of maybe trying to mask it or willpower our way over it. The other thing is I'm going to give you 3 secrets to fighting cravings, and this is what I've had amazing success with my one-on-one consultations and also with my nutrition classes. I find that just knowing these 3 things are kind of keys in understanding how you can in turn manage your cravings and live a longer, healthier, happier life. So what are cravings? And I love this picture because I think we can all relate to something sweet. So it's a powerful desire for something. It's your body trying to tell you something, either physical or emotional. So we're going to talk about both of those aspects of cravings today and how to recognize them. That's really what I want you to pick up here too, is just be a witness to your cravings today. You might not be able to solve everything tomorrow when you're like looking at that bar of chocolate being like, well, Christina said that it might be this and it might be that. I want you to really witness like what your body is feeling. And the more you get in touch with how your body is feeling, the more you're going to be able to decipher what that craving actually means, either physical or emotional.
Christina, I'll just jump in quickly. I'm still seeing the slide that says what we will cover. Just so you know, we might be one slide behind where you're at, so maybe just update that so we can see where you're at.
Okay. Are you on Cravings Can Be Harmful now?
No, I'm actually still just seeing what we will cover. I don't know if it's sometimes on webinars we do get a little bit of a delay, but it should have updated by now. Maybe we can just quickly ask the audience if people could just type into the chat box there on the right just what you can see. We might just have a little bit of a hanging screen, but we'll quickly get it fixed. So somebody could just type in what screen they see there for us, and then we'll see. Hopefully we can get it fixed. But maybe you could take the slides off maximum view and put them back on again. It could just be something like a glitch on the computer. That's yeah, so most people are just typing into the chat box that they can see what we will cover or the first screen. So it looks it might just be a minor glitch. So maybe just take your PowerPoint slide off full screen mode. Can you do that for us?
No, I just did that.
Oh, okay. We're still seeing it still stuck on that, which is kind of unusual. I haven't had this happen before, but
it's New York City.
All right, that's okay. Well, we might. The other option we can do is I can just take the screen controls back and I can just do the slides from my side. But
that's perfect.
Let's try and do that. Then I'm not sure why that's happening either. So let's go ahead and do that. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, folks. I'll just fix it up. Okay, so hopefully that's fixed it. If people could just type into the chat box there in the question box, if you can see what are cravings and a lovely picture of some colorful cupcakes. Hopefully we're back on track. Can you see my screen there now, Christina?
No, I can't actually.
Right, okay. We'll just see if the audience can. Yeah, the audience is saying that it's fixed now, so yeah, I can see. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there, but at least we fixed it. So what we'll just do for the rest of the presentation is just tell me when you want me to flick to the next screen, and then I'll just control it from this side, but we should be good, so I'll let you carry on.
Okay, great. So coming to the next one, why cravings can be harmful. So since I can't see, I'll just go on.
Yeah, we're on.
Just kind of flip through as you, at your leisure.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. So cravings can be harmful, and I kind of went over a little bit with this before, but I feel like the number one that people come to me with is that weight gain. So obviously we want to be in kind of our perfect weight, whatever that may be, whatever size you may be. You know, we want to feel like we have energy. We want to feel light. So I feel like weight gain is one of the first things that we're gonna see when we start to indulge a little bit too much in our cravings, and that's not necessarily when the cravings aren't something necessarily that we need. The other thing is we can become really out of balance, feeling depressed, or just, I guess our system isn't at homeostasis. We're not balanced. Our body's amazing. It knows pretty much everything. It knows when to wake up, when to go to sleep, maintains our body temperature. We're always breathing. We never make mistakes. So when we're craving something and we actually maybe partake in it, or we eat a whole bunch of salty or anything like that, we might get a little bit too far out of balance. So we want to really maintain that balance. Basically, and what we'll go over is also what the causes of those cravings as well. So diabetes is also another really big one, obviously, because that can be almost prevented, or not almost prevented, but it can be definitely remedied, some diabetes, obviously, with diet and exercise. And the kind of whole foods, like Matt was talking about prior, is encouraging whole foods in the diet, less processed foods, a lot of clean, healthy foods. So definitely giving into those sugar cravings or salt cravings can lead to diabetes. Adrenal fatigue, this is another one that I work with a lot. Obviously, if we're under stress and we're out of balance, that is really taxing on our adrenal glands. very taxing on our adrenal glands, and we're at a state of fight or flight a lot, and we'll lose a lot of energy as well. So if we're consistently taking in, for example, let's say like we're craving caffeine, we're craving coffee because we have low blood sugar, and we're consistently having coffee, and we're having coffee, and we're having coffee, and we're moving at 100 miles an hour, you're going to probably get into a little bit of adrenal fatigue as well, where your body's going to be like, nah, no more. So we want to really, this is when I actually really, people, I guess, don't understand the severity, not the severity of it, but it's definitely hard to come back from adrenal fatigue. So understanding cravings, I feel like is very important to, if we're in a stressful situations, or we're kind of that type A personality, like a lot of us are, wanting to do everything all at once. The other thing is, because I do work with athletes, it's definitely a slower recovery from exercise cravings, depending on how we're treating them. So if, you know, you're craving salt and you're going to have, you know, processed food or fries, and maybe that's not really what you need, and maybe you need some form of protein or iron, you're going to recover slower, and you're not going to build as much muscle as you necessarily are desiring, because you're exercising. So if you work hard to exercise, we should be building a lot of muscle. So anyway, I'm here, you know, to tell you that there's hope, and to understand why these cravings occur and how to overcome them now. And so going to the next slide, the #1 cause of cravings is hydration. I think they said that basically the lack of water, we're almost on the verge of dehydration. I think most of the statistics are almost like 80% of us are walking around dehydrated. So basically having a tall glass of water will probably satisfy a lot of the cravings, because your body is just wanting some sort of hydration. It's wanting to support your system. It's wanting to bring yourself back into homeostasis. And when I work with people a lot, I'll suggest they do drink a big glass of water before they maybe dive into anything. So thinking about hydration, and also with that is, no, I think we'll leave that. I think that's good. The first thing, have a glass of water, because hydration can definitely cause cravings. Dehydration can definitely cause cravings. That's kind of self-explanatory. That's one of our easier ones, so I thought I'd start out with that one. We can all drink a glass of water, I know that. So going to the next slide. This is an interesting one too, and I want you to think about this. Maybe some of you guys, some of you understand yin and yang imbalance, but basically what yin and yang are too much are sugar or salty foods. So if you have too much sugar in your diet, too many yin foods, it might lead to headaches or pain, and that is just an imbalance. Basically, you want not necessarily specifically sugar, like if we think about it as white raw sugar, but like sugar foods, like sweeter fruits, like you know, fruits are good for us, but if we have like 8 fruits a day, like I used to have when I was in Costa Rica, I used to have a bunch of bananas. I was like, oh, they're healthy, they're great. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm definitely addicted to bananas because of the sugar. I was using bananas to actually balance my sugar levels, and that you know, leads to headaches and different kinds of pains in the future. So you definitely want to manage, you know, your sweet fruits and also your leafy green vegetables. And then that goes the same with salted and cooked foods. A lot of us are probably more sensitive to raw and cooked in our diet based on our digestive systems. But I think with the yang foods, it's like a lot of people can trend towards salt. And a lot of people as well, too many salt or cooked foods, you can feel like bloated or inflamed, especially with salt, because you'll retain water. So, and then it kind of feeds off itself. So with the salted and cooked foods, you'll have a craving either for more of, like I did with the bananas, more of sweet foods, and leading to a, you know, that's the craving, it's the imbalance, or more of the salt foods. So you're just coming to an imbalance, and you want to, that's one that you definitely want to witness. That's where I had to kind of step back and be like, I think I'm eating too many fruits. Maybe I should I'm really needing them at this point to keep my blood sugar levels regulated, and maybe I'm going to want to dive into some salads and some leafy greens and try to get some nuts and seeds and stuff in my diet. And that definitely helped out my blood sugar levels. And the same with salted and cooked foods. Keep that in balance. I know I know of people that have had a lot of salted foods, and they've also had headaches as a result of that, and then eaten something like an apple or banana or something sweet, and that's actually helped them come back into balance, back into homeostasis. So hopefully that comes a little bit more clear, that salt and sugar balance. And then coming to the next slide, I think this is probably what we're all probably used to, is habitual eating habits. That's definitely redundant, habitual eating habits. So habitual eating. So it's because we've recently eaten. Just coming back to the point that I was talking about with my banana cravings. That was the first thing that I craved in the morning. That was pretty much what I was eating a lot. And I wasn't getting a lot of variety. So, and so I was craving them more and more. It's just really interesting. So we just come back to our habits. So we want to definitely develop different habits, and maybe, you know, an idea would be to try a different vegetable every week in a recipe or something like that, just to kind of get out of the norm of things, because your body definitely gets used to it and almost starts to crave it, as like we're talking about now. Ancestors, like what you're actually physically made out of. I think that one's interesting. Many of the people, you know, especially in New Zealand, where you're from is, you know, it's a dairy and meat society, and that's, you know, everybody usually agrees with, you know, that's what you're going to probably crave more, because that's what your ancestors are made out of, and that's what you probably grew up eating as well. And just understanding if that's actually right for your body. So just understanding that maybe, even though that's what came from your ancestor, maybe it's not right for you right now, and the way that things are processed now might not be so good for your health as well. So just understanding that might be a cause of a craving. And my favorite one, this is why I put the apple pie down here, is childhood memories. So comfort foods. So it's also habits that we developed when we were younger. For example, if I had apple pie when I was younger, and now I don't eat gluten anymore because it doesn't agree with my digestive system, but if I went by an apple pie, I would think that I needed it because of that trigger from that memory from childhood, and whether I'm satisfying an emotional craving or whether I just actually need apples, I'm not sure, but I need to look at that seriously and thinking about that as a trigger or a comfort food, or something that my body actually needs nutritionally. All right, moving through these. So seasonal. So this is very important, and I think that sometimes we underestimate seasonal changes in our diet. Balancing with the seasons is very important, and you're going to have certain cravings. I know that when we come into the cooling foods in the summer and we're going with salads and we're in our you know, our workout clothes and smaller clothes in the summer, it's very like light and airy, and salads are definitely, you know, because it's warmer outside, salads are definitely a great one. But then coming into the winter, they're not going to be nourishing for you. You're going to want to kind of balance yourself with those grounding foods, with those soups and stuff like that. That's what your body is going to crave, especially when we do have so many seasons. And, you know, we do have usually the true 4 seasons in New Zealand. So I feel like that's very important when you're coming into the seasons. If a lot of my clients, you know, will be going on this nice salad, you know, we'll be giving them all of these recipes for salads and all this kind of stuff, and they're wanting to, you know, maintain a perfect weight, and then we'll get into the winter, and they'll be like, this isn't working for me. You know, I'm hungry all the time. I don't know what to do. It's like, well, you know, we need to start having some grounding. We need to start having some root vegetables. We need to start moving into the soups. So.
Christina, can I just ask a quick question there? If people eat out of season, I guess, are you saying there's a risk that, say, they eat salads in the wintertime and they really are starting to crave more grounding winter type foods like soups, is there a risk that they will, because they're craving those foods and they're not having them, they might go and fill the void with the wrong foods?
Yeah, and
that's the point. That's what you're saying, isn't it? That's the risk.
Exactly. And I was just going to kind of exactly say what you were coming up to. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because with all of these, I'm kind of obviously, because we talked about the dangers before that, like all of these can contribute. So like you said, if we're having salads in the wintertime and then you're craving all these foods, one, your body also is going to need some of those nutrients during the winter, different nutrients during the winter than it does during the summer to actually like maintain your heat and stuff like that. So, and if you're eating salads, you're going to probably be hungry, and then you're probably going to be craving coffee and sugar to up your energy levels instead of protein and soups.
Right. That makes
sense?
Yeah, that does. Yep. Thanks.
Yeah. So, and that's a huge transition. And I guess we, sometimes we don't realize how important that is. We're like, gosh, I'm eating so healthy, because I mean, you're eating really healthy. It's just maybe not exactly what your body needs. So your body's going to need different things at different points. All right. Thank you. So another one, another big one is lack of nutrients. So if you're eating processed food, basically what you're eating is non-whole food, processed food. So it's bits and pieces of the food. And so what happens there is that your body is going to crave those other nutrients or vitamins that you would get if you had that whole food. So that's why whole foods are so important. They're the complete nutrient pack, the complete deal. So if you're having those processed foods, you're probably going to keep craving more processed foods. And it's interesting, I'll tell this little story about Life Foods. But so I make a lot of little chocolate treats with the cacao and the cacao butter. And it's basically very low in sugar. I'll either use, a brown rice syrup or dates or coconut sugar or something like that. And then I'll use the cacao powder, and I'll do some coconut butter, and I'll make my own chocolate. And they're very rich, which is great, and they're high in magnesium, and they're perfect. But I can have a little bit of that, and where we used to buy the blocks of Cadbury bars. So I would give my partner a block of, or just a little chocolate of what I've made, and he's like, wow, I only have to eat one of those. I don't have to eat the whole block. Like we usually finish sometimes. Sometimes we'll finish that instead, but since, it just shows that the power in just a small, nutritious and nutrient-filled and antioxidant-rich chocolate, a smaller version, it has all the nutrients that you're going to need, instead of that, the processed version with all the partial sugars and the hydrogenated oils and the different things that the chocolate bars might have in it, and dairy and stuff like that. It's we're not satisfied by just one little piece of it. We want the whole block because there aren't many nutrients in it. So low mineral levels. So just like this one said. So I kind of went over the processed foods. Cravings they also lead to cravings for energy and caffeine, because you're trying to balance out the blood sugar levels, and then low mineral levels can equal salt cravings as well. So next, I think this one, I know we all experience it, hormonal, or at least a lot of us women experience it. And sometimes it can just be a little bit confusing, but basically fluctuations in testosterone and estrogen levels can dictate if we're craving different things at certain times. Because our body is going through changes, we're going to need different nutrients. So just a few simple things. Estrogen level goes up and down, so does our stress level. So we're going to tend to start craving things. When our stress level goes up and down, or well, especially up, I guess I should say, we're going to crave, we're usually going to crave sugars, just because we're going to want to fuel our body with glycogen immediately, because it's kind of the flight or flight response. The other thing during that time, serotonin levels are low. That's the feel-good drug. So we're going to seek out chocolate or, something like that. So just understanding that that's just your hormones trying to balance, and you can choose to do that healthy, like what I was talking about earlier, maybe with a nice natural chocolate that you made from Life Foods products, maybe with a little chia seeds, something like that, instead of that bar of Whitaker's, Darkana or something like that, which I love as well. But definitely a little bit healthier option is going to be a lot better for you. So your body also needs iron. Tuna, leafy greens, lean meat, magnesium, like I mentioned, cacao. Those are all great options to kind of fill that craving, healthy options. And the next one, self-sabotage. And that's spelled wrong, I'm sorry about that. Self-sabotage syndrome. So change is scary. So I feel like this is more about that we really are comfortable with a lot of foods. And, especially when I have clients when they're going to health food stores or something like that, there's a lot of stuff there. So I feel like we do go back to familiar foods, and we do go back to that security. And sometimes, with the cravings, it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to have this bar of chocolate, and then I'm going to have this another bar of chocolate. And since I always have a bar of chocolate, I'm just going to have that because that's what I feel good with. And we're kind of sabotaging that healthy lifestyle. Whereas if we maybe stepped out of our comfort zone just a little bit, maybe tried some, a blueberry banana kale smoothie or something like that, that might be a little bit better for us. But because that's not what we're used to, and that's not familiar, they can just lead to more cravings. So, and then also just this self-sabotage also happens when you have low blood sugar and strong mood swings. So as soon as you let your blood sugar go, it's all bets are off. You're going to just pretty much grab anything that you need to get that blood sugar back up. So the more we can maintain the blood sugar levels at a healthy level, the more we're going to avoid that need to grab something immediately and the need to validate it. Well, I always do that, or it's kind of like breaking that habit.
Right, and would you say, Christina, that high GI foods is a problem? Like a lot of people don't understand the glycemic index of the foods they're eating and the effect it's having on the blood sugar and the spikes. And what do you think about that?
That's a really good question. I feel like that leads to a lot of cravings, is our blood sugar levels. One thing that you do want to, with the GI foods, the higher GI, the high sugar foods are going to, basically the response in your body is going to be coming to highs and lows all the time, instead of with the slower burning, like the fruits or something like berries, something that is lower GI is going to have a longer effect, and it's going to regulate the energy levels and also the blood sugar level in our body.
Right, I see.
Can I answer that a little bit?
Yeah, so would it be fair to say that eating more of foods that are obviously more nutrient dense, which you mentioned, is going to feed the starving cells in the body, but also make sure that it's supplied to them at a more stable rate for the blood sugar at the same time? So it's sort of a combination, I guess.
Yes, that's perfect. That's a great way to put it. It's stabilizing.
Right.
So it's going to obviously, alleviate those cravings. So nutrient-rich whole foods.
Sure. Okay, cool. I'll hand back to you. I'm on slide 8, just so you know, a lack of primary needs.
Oh, perfect. So lack of primary needs. So this can definitely cause a lot of cravings as well. And so this is kind of obviously more on the emotional side of things, which I feel like sometimes is almost more of a cause of the cravings than the physical side. even in athletes, honestly. So the lack of primary needs, dissatisfied with relationship, or maybe, we'll definitely know that sitting down. Well, I guess I should say some of us might, you'll turn to something sweet, and then no exercise. Definitely that puts us out of balance as well. Uninspired, maybe in your job or in something like that, you're going to probably turn to something else, like maybe some food, and eating is filling that void. So I think understanding that there are those points, and then we're going to get to how to combat these as well.
Right, cool.
So I'm going to get to that in just a second. So going to the next slide. So after knowing what I just was describing, obviously with the 8 causes of cravings, we can understand now why willpower isn't the answer. It's not just being like, I'm not going to eat that bar of chocolate today. There's something more involved here. It's like I previously mentioned with the tack. It's like understanding like where the tack is and how to get it out, not to have that bar of chocolate and think it'll go away. You're still going to be walking on it. So it's a temporary fix. You'll eventually get to a point where you're not going to be able to walk through by that bar of chocolate. It'll either be because your blood sugar is too low or something like that, or you've been not allowing yourself something, and so there's going to be that feeling of void or something like that. That's why diets usually don't work. They're usually temporary. I always work with people on a lifestyle. I always work with longer programs because I feel like to initiate that change, it takes a little bit longer. And that's why I love these webinars. I feel like they're extremely important for you guys and for everybody. I feel like just getting free webinars with Life Foods, that's the most inspiring thing. I think that the more we know about our health is extremely important. So going back to cravings, is it a message? What is our body trying to tell us? And actually having the ability, hopefully if your blood sugar is not too low, to be like, okay, do I really need this apple pie, or is it a number of things? And I'm sure you guys have I'm sure you folks have all gone through in your mind that, oh, this is me, maybe this is why I crave this. And is it all in the mind? Like I said, is it emotional or physical? All right, here are the secrets. So this is what I work with people on, and this is also what I give a lot of workshops and also consultations on and programs on in the future. So the secrets to cutting the cravings: balance. I know it seems like a little bit of hard work, and I know you wanted me to give you like, eat this and you'll never crave anything again. But it's really about balance in your life. So getting the right amount of exercise, at least looking at the relationship, seeing what's working and what's not working, spirituality, whatever you believe, really having that faith there, some respect, career, whether it's inspiring or not inspiring, just really understanding where you are, professional development. So balancing those motivators, and I call those the primary foods actually, because those can actually, once we can work on those, then you can see what, then we get that emotional part kind of a little bit out of the way, and you can really focus on like whole foods, rich foods, and what you actually need in your diet, nutrient-rich foods. So that comes to the next slide. So eating nutrient-rich foods. If you start to look at your diet from a whole food point of view, starting to go around the supermarket instead of through the aisles, just really simple things like going and having most of your basket filled with fruits and vegetables, then pretzels and different things like that. Because even the same 100 calories in the pretzels isn't going to be the same 100 calories that is in the apple. The pretzels are obviously going to be high in salt, and they're going to have different components. Where the apple is definitely going to be more filling because it's a whole food. Iron, magnesium cravings. So those are the two main cravings that people probably have: magnesium Ways to get magnesium in your diet. If you have a lack of either one of these, you probably be struggling with low energy, fatigue, maybe even hitting some adrenal fatigue at some point. But with iron, obviously we know the meats are an amazing source of iron, but you can also have leafy greens as well, and magnesium, nuts and seeds, and cacao. I love Life Foods cacao. I use that in about everything. All of my desserts, I should say, in my smoothies. So I feel like that really hits the magnesium as well. Do you want to come up?
I was just gonna ask you something. I know a lot. Sorry, I know a lot of people talk about a lack of iron, and as far as I know, it can manifest in people feeling tired a lot. I'm sure I've had that in my life. I just wonder, what is magnesium, a craving for magnesium? If you're low in that, what does that manifest itself as? Is it similar, like you feel tired, or what does that? How does the body tell you that? I'm just wondering if you can tell a difference or not.
This usually happens a lot in athletes and women, actually, because our body's using so much of these nutrients. Usually we're if you're fatigued and if you're craving chocolate a lot, and the other thing with magnesium is that you'll have cramps, like leg cramps, so it's a magnesium deficiency. And so, like I said, like a lot of women and athletes also have magnesium deficiencies because they're working hard, or there's a hormonal imbalance. Well, we're trying to balance hormones. So that's going to either be in cramps or literally that craving for chocolate. You're going to know that maybe I'm deficient in magnesium, so chocolate might not be the answer, but that is telling you that. And that is when you want to have, like I said, nuts, seeds, fish, leafy greens, and then you'll probably see the cramps, the fatigue, the craving start to diminish.
Right, great. I see. So if I assume if you have a craving for one thing like magnesium, and you go and fill that craving with, say, a highly processed chocolate or whatever, it could be anything, you can then go and create another craving for something else by overloading with imbalancing on something else. Like all of a sudden you're too high in sugar now, and I assume it can be a knock-on effect if you don't fill the craving correctly the first time you got it.
Oh, definitely. And then you'll also be deficient in magnesium because your body's telling you, like, I need this. And, it's like that tack. So you're not going to be necessarily removing that tack. You're going to be adding a couple more tacks in there. You're probably going to have low blood sugar or high blood sugar, low blood sugar. And so you're not really doing yourself any favors by keeping giving into the craving. And I think that's the other thing that we really have to know about cravings is, like, okay, do we give in to the craving? Do we, with chocolate and stuff like that, you want to, obviously have the healthier version of it, or the whole food version of it.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yep. I can see slide balance. I'm on that slide with the number 3 at the top there.
Okay. Yep. Cool. So balance. I feel like, especially when I work with clients, just going to give you this example. I use this a lot with salads. You can create balance in one meal. You're combining all of these 6 flavors, and you're going to feel a lot more satisfied. You're going to have kind of all of the elements that you need in there. All of the tastes are going to be covered, and you're going to be able to feel satisfied instead of maybe reaching for something sweet or something salty or anything after you eat. So sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, astringent. So, for example, you have a nice big leafy green salad. You put some dried goji berries on it, some nuts and seeds. You put a little bit of balsamic vinaigrette on it, maybe a squeeze of lemon, and then you've gotten almost all of those flavors in. So it's going to lead to less cravings afterwards because you're going to feel more satiated with your whole meal. So That should make sense as well, hopefully. And you can do that with just about anything. I feel like putting the, just a couple things of dried fruits or something like that, especially those go-to berries that you have that are super high in antioxidants, would be amazing. So let's see. I think we're at the end of it. So I just wanted to say that I really appreciate everybody for coming today, and I look forward to some more webinars with Life Foods. I think it's an extremely valuable product. I think it helps balance our cravings, and I'd love for you guys to go to my website, sign up for my newsletter, look for programs. I'm going to be doing more workshops. I'm going to be doing workshops in the States until November, and then start traveling around in New Zealand doing nutrition and nutrition workshops as well. So you'll definitely have to look for me there.
Great. Well, I appreciate you jumping on this webinar tonight with us, Christina, and getting up early. We'll I might ask a few questions in a moment, but for the people on here, if you want to ask any questions while we're here, you can type in that little box that sticks off the side of your screen there. You should see a little chat box. You can actually type straight into that, and I'll see your question. I can read it out if you have any questions about anything on this webinar or related to fitness or health that Christina might be able to answer for you. Just while we wait, if anyone does want to do that, I wonder if you could, I like to learn through, I'm a visual learner and a practical learner, I guess you could call it. I wonder if you could tell us a case study of somebody who came to you, obviously without using anyone's real name. I just don't have to share any details, but I just wonder if you could tell us a scenario of somebody that sort of had issues with these things that we've talked about tonight and had a positive outcome. Could you sort of share with us any experience of people that have come to you like that?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely have had, I've had a number of people that have reached out that have had adrenal fatigue before and have had different cravings, and it's usually the blood sugar level that we're trying to organize. And so basically, if your body is under stress and then you're feeding it sugar all the time, you're at this high level of stress and high level of sugar and high level of blood sugar the whole time. So we integrated exactly what I was talking about here. So we reduced the stress. We balanced out the life a little bit. And we looked into those 4 components, the primary foods, the exercise, relationships, spirituality, and career. And we balanced that. Felt really comfortable with that, and once we kind of got a handle on how we could balance that, for example, just with maybe different professional development groups or more communication, different things like that, then we could kind of get to the foods. And then by doing that balance, we could get down to where they could eat the kind of foods that I was recommending. So once you get the balance in the life, the craving started to diminish a little bit because the stress level was diminished, and then the cravings went down for that, and then you could get into where, oh, okay, well, maybe I will have that smoothie in the morning, or I will have that healthy chocolate, instead of immediately diving into something that would spike the blood sugar and maintain a level of high stress or high imbalance, I guess, in the life. And that was extremely valuable for her. Then she was... yeah, it was just amazing, the transformation. Tons more energy, tons more balance, tons more just joy, pretty much, the ability to do anything that she wanted to do. And then also it increased her exercise level, it increased, every aspect of the life. So just kind of getting out of that cycle.
So it's a key part of managing your diet and your food is really a holistic approach at looking at the emotional triggers that are involved in your life, which obviously have a knock-on effect of what you put into your body. So I think obviously that's what you're saying is what I'm getting. So it's obviously why dieting alone is really just trying to force yourself to fix rather than looking at the underlying cause of the problem. So it makes complete sense, and I agree with you 100%. A question's come in here from Justine Jardin. So Justine's asked, does drinking a lot of diet soda make the body stressed? What do you think about that and diet soda?
Oh, that's interesting. The first thing that I would probably, that's an interesting question. I think Yeah, it probably does because it's processed. And I think that it can be taxing on the body, obviously anything processed like we were talking about. So what I usually do with clients that I work with is just try to integrate different things into and see how they feel with different beverages besides diet soda, maybe like a tea or like a homemade fruit juice or something like that, because I feel like, yeah, the chemicals and things like that in diet soda, I know there's a lot of research done on it as well, and I do feel like that would put a little bit of stress in your body and can lead to cravings for different things, especially sweeter things.
Right, and just following on from that question, Justine's also said, what's one of the very first tips for someone that has been really unhealthy for a long time food-wise? So I know it can be quite a daunting thing, Justine, so you're not alone, but if we could just give Justine one of the very first tips for her, just to encourage her tonight, what would you push her towards, I guess, Christina, to help her?
Yeah, that's a great question because you're definitely not alone. Definitely. And I've definitely gone through phases of this as well. So I think the first phase is just not necessarily maybe giving up anything, but starting to add in different whole foods, like adding in an apple or an orange or maybe a tea, like an herbal tea or something, or like a like a fruit juice or something like that. Just starting to add in some more fruits and vegetables in your diet. Simple, just that. Just starting to snack on different things, different whole foods. I think that would be and then you can kind of see how your body feels after that, and see how it's going, and then slowly you'll probably realize that you need less and less of the unhealthy things.
Fantastic. Yeah, cool. Hopefully, Justine, that encourages you to give you a first step anyway. Great. If there's any more questions, fire away. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap it up. We've been almost going for an hour, but I will. This has been recorded for everybody, so we'll be posting this on our blog and on the Facebook page as well. And we're going to be putting all these webinars that we do on our YouTube channel. So, like I said at the beginning of this webinar, for those of you who might not have been here at the beginning, any topics that you would like us to get a guest expert to come in and present on, please let us know, because we want you guys, our customers, to drive these life food webinar workshops, which we're going to be doing as an ongoing thing. And you'll never have to pay to be on these. It's just a service. So, but we want to hear from you. We want to know the sort of things that you want us to go out and find an expert for. So please contact us, post it comment on the Facebook page so that we know what you want, because that'll help us to be able to develop a content plan of webinars for you, so that we deliver what you actually want. So, Christina, I just want to say thank you for getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning there in New York and sharing some of your advice around food cravings. It was very insightful, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
No worries. And so everybody, Christina's website again is on the screen there, swellfitliving.com. You can check that out anytime you like. We'll post the replay on this probably in the next 24 hours. We'll get it up there for you guys if you want to watch that again at any other point. But thanks so much for joining us on this Life Foods webinar session. Until next time, thanks very much, and bye for now.
Starting, all attendees are in listen-only